as I was saying, we want to learn about Rudolf Virag, who, of course, is Bloom's father. Learn that Bloom's dad, of course, committed suicide after the death of his wife, which, again, goes back to the whole theme of paternity, which will relate back to Bloom and Stephen. We asked if Bloom showed up here yesterday, which, of course, we know he did, because of the expense that we saw. He spent some money on a donation for Patty Dignam's memorial. And we learned from here where he went next. He went to see Myrna Porfoy in the hospital at some time yesterday, so that's where we're going to head next. Here we're going to talk to Nurse Callan, who we know is a friend of Bloom's, or an acquaintance rather. Whoops, out there. Speak to her. Ask if Myrna's here. She was released last night. And Leopold Bloom stopped in yesterday. Came to visit us. Did he say anything important? And of course we're going over some brief facts about the Oxen of the Sun chapter of Ulysses. And what did he say? Of course they were talking a lot about sex and crude things like that, which probably doesn't interest her, which of course is fitting for her character. And then here she would explain that Bloom did seem to take an unusual interest in Stephen. And where did he go next? Of course, we know that in the following chapter, Bloom follows Stephen and his friend towards Nighttown, where we're going to meet up with him at Bella Cohen's brothel. But now, on our way out of here, that's where our next location is, Nighttown. Okay, now that the message has gone out of the way, we can speak to Bella Cohen. She explains to you, as you ask her what happened last night. Stephen Dedalus. We learn about the incident where he breaks his chandelier on his way out the door because he was so startled by the vision of his mother. And then she explains again. And then as we note the chandelier is still intact, that reminds her that Bloom said something similar when he paid for the damages. Yeah, and she reminds us again that Bloom's looking out for Steve, make sure he doesn't spend too much money, make sure he doesn't get taken advantage of. She confirms that, yes, she does think it was Bloom. That's enough to tell us from it. Okay, and as we know, that after Bella Cohen's brothel, they headed over to the cabin shelter together. And from there, they went to Eccles Street, which we've already been there. So that's a brief overview of Ulysses. Certain aspects were omitted. For instance, the Sandymount Strand chapter doesn't appear in here because for the size of the game and scope, I did not believe it revealed enough about the characters worth visiting. I thought to keep it succinct, I would limit it to some of the more important chapters, which I have. As you can see, we covered a bunch of different things. You learned about the characters and plot analysis for your game experience here. It's non-linear. You can go back at any time, repeat the same conversations you had people in case you missed something, and you can write things down as you imagine them to be, rather just observe the clues they give you and get a fuller picture as you learn more of who this Bloom guy is. Thank you.